filing the correct paperwork, getting notices, and how everything is. Just during this COVID time, there's actually a lot that's going on, and they actually extended for until July, the end of July, when they're really. So basically, if you don't like, tend to these tenants and like say, okay, work something out, then if you really, get down to it, then it's like, yeah, they can wait until June or July, end of July. But at this point, it's already been like 3 months, and it should be like, it's like all the whole eviction process, and everybody's getting to it. It's kind of getting tired of it. So you're just like, you know what? Okay, cool, but you're not gonna be living here that long. So how do you find a solution to whatever it is? You know what I mean? Because eviction is kind of the last thing that you want to do.
Yeah, I think for anyone, right? Nobody wants to reach that point. So from your personal experience, what do you think was the pivotal point in your current situation that, jump-started the process of getting people out of the property?
Well, the first part of it was just because, this was a personal thing, but just seeing it from the other aspect of it as well. Let's say the owners, you know what I mean? So the owners, they weren't like getting their voice heard on anything like that. They just took back their house, and now things have changed. And what we got to do is like, okay, you got to kind of abide by the owners and see if we guys can make something neat in between. If you can't, then that becomes like later on. But push comes to shove, the client, they actually just really wanted to do something and help them, but at the end of the day, it's just like it's out of your hands. So when it becomes that type of deal, then you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of just the push, like giving notices, because you can't just start evicting everybody out of nowhere. You gotta you gotta give them some time. Give them that, okay, notice that, hey, you know what, like, notice as in like, come on, like maybe if you live in the house and you're like, okay, maybe clean this up. But in California, we have so many rules for tenants. It's like California is for tenants. So if they've lived in this house more than a year or so, then you can't even touch any of their stuff. You can't physically move any of their stuff. So that's kind of the deal. It's like you can live in, you can have your house, but your house isn't yours anymore if you decide to rent it out with tenants and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's not even, you don't even have, let's say you don't even have like a lease agreement or something like that, but this person's lived there more than a year. There's rights. They have rights to this stuff. And it's like, it becomes squatting and everything like that. And
isn't it if they have a mail there too, or no? I heard something about if they get mail there.
Yeah. Well, hello, Lambo.
What's up, Lamb?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I heard something about like if they get mail there, then they fall under like tenant laws. Is that true? You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so in regards to getting mail, that doesn't mean anything. Because remember that incident, Vin, when our
oh yeah.
walk us through that experience on 14th Street while I was talking to the guy.
I love you.
You remember?
Yeah. Well, basically, he lived there and his mail's there, but he has no ownership to the house or anything like that. And, you're not even able to be there.
Yeah,
even
the house.
There.
I mean, the house, it wasn't even move-in ready. It wasn't habitable, right?
Yeah.
And this was our squatter, the son of the seller. And, this was the problematic guy that we were having issues with towards the end of our project. And one of the things he threw out there was exactly what you said. Well, what if we have mail there?
Oh, okay.
Like I got mail coming in here. You can't kick me out.
So that's
and
for a minute, just what people hear, huh?
What's up?
That's just like what I've heard too. Yeah. So it's just like people talking like.
Right. I mean, what does mail have? Like mail.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You got mail. We got missing mail going to different people every day, right?
Yeah.
So that's almost
but
like.
What if you knew karate?
Hold on. Let me plug up to a speakerphone because you're low on that end too.
Oh, I'm plugging it apart. I said, what if he knows karate though?
What if he knows karate?
Yeah.
Shit, man. Then we might as well give them the house.
Okay.
Call it a day.
Call it a day.
Call it a day. It's not worth it.
Yeah, you just gotta back up and be like, all right. Hopefully,
Okay, so then I have a question. When it
Assess
comes
the situation for what it is before you make a decision, you know.
So I have a question then. So I'm jumping in this. I don't know how the topic started, but I'm jumping in. So then would it be, if you were going to be a landlord, right? Would you suggest that you be a landlord to Section 8 tenants then?
Well, now we're talking about investment strategies and
were you guys talking about something else?
right?
Sorry. Oh,
Hold on. In regards to what you said, Crystal, I mean, I don't see Section 8 being a problem if you know how to operate within their guidelines. And most misconception that people have, what is that? Dude, stop messing around. You got a bloody nose, or is that gummy bear? Are you guys messing around? Look at this guy. This is what I gotta deal with. You come here. Is that for real? Did you just sneeze? Oh, that is real. Give me 1 second, guys. Come here.
okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And then were you guys talking about people that were selling to kick the tenants out? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so what I'm dealing with right now is during the eviction process. And what we were just talking about, like, you know, like we could go through eviction, but we're not going to say like this is just our opinion going through it. If you're gonna go through yourself, then you gotta go do your due diligence, do the work into it, and know what it is.
Did your people have to get an attorney and like evict them with an attorney?
Well, the thing is, I did reach out to an attorney.
Oh, okay. How much does it cost? Do you know?
Yeah, I do know how much it costs. So when when you send somebody out to go and kind of deliver the paperwork, so that can be like 150 every time each person, right? 150, and then the attorney costs about like 250 to 300 every time they have to come out and show up.
Oh.
Any type of hearing. So those are the kind of the fees that you were looking at. So let's say for instance, this one.
Can you serve people an eviction by yourself? You don't, without an attorney?
Yes.
You can, okay.
Yes.
Curious. I don't know much about evictions.
But the thing is, like, you have to do it in like, you got to post it up and then kind of get it certified mail, or kind of
you have to have proof of service.
Yes, you have to have proof of service. Let's say like you serve them, but you serve it and then you take a picture of them having it, or at least post it on their wall or something.
Or you have like a police officer deliver it or something.
Yes, or a mailman, certified mail.
Got it, okay.
But for instance, now we can't because COVID.
Oh, how long is that in state for, by the way?
It was until July now. It's actually for California, it's going a little bit further.
Okay, so question. So you can't evict anybody. Does that mean that during that time period?
Let me jump in right there because actually, yes, Vince, correct that they extended over the state of California, but it's going to be county to county. Okay, so if you guys want, go on cars.org, our cars site, and it'll give you all the counties that either lifted it or extending it, bro.
Okay, Mike, so but then does that mean that even though, so let's say they haven't paid their rent the whole time during COVID, so, and then you can't evict them, then once it's listed, you can evict them, and do they owe you the back rent?
Absolutely. It's not forgiven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
The rent that they are behind is the reason why they're getting evicted, right? And the memorandum is just the statute that doesn't allow landlords to evict them during the pandemic until it's lifted. But then now they went even further because, like you guys noticed, some cities and counties are running their own program. You know what I mean? Some of them went against the governor's stay-at-home, basically his stay-at-home order, right? So in regards to that, it's going to be county to county. So be specific in your local area. Most misconception, let's say like, somebody somewhere not in a certain county, they may say, oh, well, the governor, said that they're going to extend it till July. Not necessarily, because now if they're not specific to their own county, they can get started. The eviction process can already start for them, So
Got it. So, and can you sell a house with it being tenants in there that you have to evict or no?
so this is where the conversation where me and
Okay.
Din were talking about. You can't sell anything and you can't sell anything. So it really depends on you. We got to be mediators. What can we do, right? And in regards to that, if you're talking about legally, of course you can. It's your house. You got to give them a 60-day notice to notice a sell, right? And we have that on car forms, and 24-hour notice of entry, right? So they got to cooperate. Does that mean that they'll abide by it? Again, it's going to come down to how we communicate with the tenants or the occupants, you know?
Oh yeah, because that's true. Because remember, I was trying to refinance that investors guy's units, and he said he couldn't get into a couple of them because the tenants wouldn't let the appraiser in.
Yeah. So it's with tenants, and especially how California is, it's a very
They're liberal.
Yeah, they're very pro tenant, and it's how we go about it. I mean, just recently with Wynn's thing, like it could have been a fucking nightmare with that that closing, right? Because the sellers were gonna do a lease back, right? With the buyers doing the lease back to the sellers on Beaumont, crazy agent, all these things kind of like going sideways, and then we went into COVID, and you know, just thinking about worst case scenario.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Right. They, you know, if they really wanted to dick our clients, they could have not given them the proration, waited out, dragged it out, and then try to let the new buyers, owners kind of evict them once all this is lifted. Good luck with that, right? By that time they could have trashed the house and did everything. However, you know, with intuition, you know, we were assuming that, you know what, a lot of this nonsense and miscommunication, we believe that this is the agent's fault, and we weren't faulting the seller, right? They even left behind the fridge because that was the question. You know what I mean? Are they going to live behind the fridge that they try to, you know, have you rebuttal for that $15,000?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So at the end of the day, best case scenario, you know, we got Jeremy, that broker, to pitch in, or the agent to pitch in on our behalf, and they got the keys in a timely manner, right? When everything worked out pretty much.
I think that worked out good because they get to moving early. Yeah, they got to moving early. They're happy with the fridge. The 300s actually it's just cherry on the top.
Yeah. So it could have been a much worse situation than anticipated, right?
Did they get paid, by the way? Did they pay the proration?
Yes and no. Well, they paid with the stay. The proration actually come out to be just covering the termination on the Philip have to cancel their apartment. But like I say, we calculated out. It's about 480. So the fridge kind of covered that, but we're able to have Jeremy cover the additional 300.
So they didn't get paid the full 30 days though that they were initially supposed to get?
No, they only stay for 19 days. I guess the problem that the agent never explained to them what the lease back is.
Got it.
So they felt that it was only fair that they were gonna pay whatever amount that they were gonna stay in the property. And after going back and forth and analyzing that particular situation, we felt that, you know what, the agent probably didn't do a good job enough to explaining it to their clients. And hence, that's why, like, if they wanted to do the new buyers dirty, they probably wouldn't have even agreed to pay anything, right? So that wasn't like the mindset. So going back to like what we know and what our intuition is and our reading, basically, at the end of the day, guys, we're in a business that you can only do so much real estate. The rest of it's really reading the people. You guys gotta have a good base of judgment, you know, and it's going to enter in every transaction is going to be different. So you got to use your best judgment. We got to be mediators to alleviate the situation, even though, like, you know, at times parties may and energy run high, right? So that can be the difference of that transaction closing. That can be the difference of somebody ending up in a litigation. Us, you guys, the whole team, the buyers, the sellers, whoever we're representing, right? So first off, be people, and then but also at the same time, don't let somebody take advantage of yourself or your clients that you're representing because of the lack of knowledge that we don't have, right? Knowledge is power in everything we do. We know what they can do and what they can't get away with, right? So, and that just know that tenant
That's so
situation.
true, Mike. What you said, I totally agree with, because a lot of that's so true.
Yeah, because they're gonna play the game. But if we're always like in that mind frame that someone's trying to get one on us, then we'll never find a happy medium to resolve the solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring it back with the property in that we help Fu, his sister, the pharmacy, right, in Garden Grove, right? Like, obviously they came to me, oh, my son, my grandson's a dick, or my son's a dick, he's this big 6-foot guy that, he ain't gonna listen to you, but we want to sell the house, so what do? We still approach it. Hey, you know what? Here's your formal notice, right? Here's your 60-day notice. We're going to be selling the house. I'm here to help you guys out. But at the same time,
right?
this is a part of my job. Huh?
Was it Hall?
Yeah, it was like, remember Reed?
Yeah, Reed. Oh, there you go. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, it went from like them painting this picture of what the occupants were. And, obviously at the first initial meeting, calling the wife and everything. I mean, I was there. I sat down, I made time. I said, hey, let me come in. I need to check out the house real quick, do a quick assessment, right? And I want to sit down with you to explain the process of what's going to happen from now till then. Because a lot of the times they're probably scared too. They don't know. They don't know if this house is going to be sold and they don't have enough time to pack up, right? They don't know what their rights are, right? And so I think a lot of it was just like communication, like, hey, I was sending them properly, like, hey, what do you guys think about this property, because you want to move them out and you want to be able to assist any way you can. And instead of being like, hey, you guys, if you don't fucking listen, blah, 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 like coming there with some kind of authority, you still wanted to show that you knew what you were doing, even though you didn't know where the cards were going to land. So you had to come in confident, So I went in there, and this is the first time I gave somebody that kind of notice with an occupant to sell a house, right? But I came there, I didn't ask. I told them in a way that was a professional way, but I told them, like, this is what's going to go down. You know what I mean? I've explained it in a respectful way where it wasn't an option if you guys didn't cooperate. Because it states right here, penal code, blah, blah, blah. See, so that's like, oh shit, like there's laws, that as a tenant, they got to follow through, right? But if you don't first reach out your hand and then educate them, and then second of all, reach out your second hand to see how can I help you guys, right? How can I be a resource to you guys? Can I help you guys look for other properties to move into, right? Because don't think of me just, here hired by the sellers. I want to be able to facilitate and help you guys as well. Why? Now that you're earning their trust and they're not going to give you shit for selling the house and moving things along, right? So, yeah, always try to be a mediator until you can't. That's all. But at the same time, come in with a sense of confidence where, like, what the fuck you're doing, even though sometimes we may not know what the fuck we're doing right away on the spot. Right. and it's just being a sense of guidance, but anyways, back to your Section 8. I think it's going to be a killer thing if you're able to get Section 8 tenants into your property. A lot of misconception is that Section 8 people are like, oh, they're going to fuck up your house, blah, 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 blah. It's just not true, because most of them, it takes a long time for them to get this voucher. And most of the time they don't want to mess it up. And most of the times they stay there forever.
Yeah.
So, but it's just understanding, like, can they really afford that difference, of whatever you're asking for? Because most times Section 8, there's different programs too. They only pay about 70-75% of what you're asking for. And the tenant's got to cover the rest, right?
Okay, so then I have another question for you. Is it hard to get your property Section 8 approved?
No, you just got to go through the inspection. It has to be habitable. Smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, no broken windows, no screens. Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Well, I mean, if there's a little bit more stringent, but it's not as crazy. Like, you know, let's say like, is the appraiser going to call out missing screens? Probably not. They'll call out a broken window, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the inspection for Section 8, they will call out missing screens, right?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but how thorough are they? They're going to check the water. They're going to check the lights. They're going to check the stove, you know? But once it's approved, you're good to go, you know? That's the biggest thing. But just understand there's a time lapse too, right, guys? I've done this with the Section 8 tenant. We got them approved. So I'm gonna walk you guys a quick brief because, you know, obviously these meetings, we want to condense it, right? But, you know, from the time you get a lease property that you want to lease and you have a potential Section 8, you got to schedule an inspection with the housing authority inspector. So don't think that you're going to be, oh, you know what? I want Section 8. A tenant that is approved for Section 8 says, I want to rent it. That, you know what? It's a done deal. Sign it, drop a deposit. We're good. No, it takes time. So you got to add that into your equation. Add that carrying cost in there. You know what I mean? If this is your own personal property too, right?
Yeah.
So it could take, last time it took an average of 2 weeks, but we don't know how backed up things are since a lot of these city and county offices are closed, right?
That's
So
not that bad. I thought it would be way longer. Okay.
no, again though, I don't
Yeah.
know what today's standard looks like.
With
You could be
COVID
a
and
month
everything.
out, right? So if you want to call San Bernardino County Housing Authority, we got a contact. Her name is Giovanna, so we can hit her up and ask her, hey, how's this look like? You know?
Okay.
But, I mean, Section 8 tenants for the most part, you know, they're gonna last. But you know, again, you pick and choose, right? Not just like anything. You got 700 FICO people who are living sloppy. You got 580 that live really pristine, but and vice versa. So it's a judgment of character. You can only be so analytical in everything you do.
Oh,
right?
one other question. Oh, this is me being analytical. So if you have a unit, does your whole, let's say you have 2 units, do both of them have to be Section 8 approved?
You know what? I don't believe so, but that's a great question. I don't see why they would have to be, because let's say you're occupying one, why you can have the right to Section 8 the other one or not. It's your discretion, right?
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
curious.
I don't think it has to be like a certain percentage of ownership that has to be Section 8 for it to be approved. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna strongly say no.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, let's get to the agenda. Market update. Crystal, enlighten us. Enlighten us. So if we're developing content, which, you know, we should, starting Monday mañana market updates, right?
So did you
Educate
guys
us.
send out, okay, Monday, you want to do group text on Monday market updates?
Well, yeah, if you can, that'd be nice. But let's
Okay.
do Sunday. Let's do Sunday because, well, let me ask you a question. Do things change on your end for our clients on Monday, or are they presumably the same on Sunday?
No, Monday is when we get hit with the wabash.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So how early can we get a Monday market update from you?
I would say that by the time rates are released, and I would say by 9 a.m.
So by 9 a.m., let's say 10 o'clock, we should hear something, a little summary in layman's term that you can give us some nuggets to say, hey, check this out.
This is where the market's trending, or this is what yeah.
As of Friday, what did you see change?
The word on the street was that we were going to see an increase of rates.
Yeah, rates are going up, right?
Yep, because they unemployment was expected to be a lot worse than it really was. So it came in looking more positive for them, right? So then in return, what happens to rates? Every time something looks good, rates go up.
Well, I mean, the market's looking really fucking good right now, right? I mean, it's been on a 50-day high. So I'm assuming that, you know, the consent or the sentiment that, you know, things are looking better than what people were projecting. And I'm sure that you guys walk around and maybe you're feeling the same thing, that people are more laxy-daisy, as you like to say, right, Crystal?
Yeah. Okay, so example, Vin, your client, the VA guy, I haven't locked him yet is because I'm chasing rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm chasing rates is because when I quoted him, how long did it take him to get into escrow? Like a month, maybe?
Yeah, about a month.
And then I had $2,500 in rebate, right? To give him back at the 2.75. And I don't have it. And I had enough to give him like pretty dang close to it on Thursday. And then I didn't do it. And then so Friday, I'm like, okay, I'll do it today. Gone. The money was gone. So I've been chasing that $2,500 during a transaction. So that's why I haven't locked it yet. And he kind of knows that I'm chasing rates too. I'm just, because even though, let's say they say the trend is that the market's going to get worse and rates are going to get higher, sometimes there's these crazy dips that all of a sudden they have a meeting and some information gets released and there's a little dip. So you could that's what I'm praying for, right? A little dip. So, but for example, though, from the time I did a pre-approved him and the time we got into escrow, my $2,500 went down to $1,000 and now down to nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm still giving it to him, so don't worry about that. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Where you at, Win? Looks like you got TV monitors. You got a face flag on. The light is kind of like tinted.
He's at the gym or like a hookah lounge.
Yeah, where are you at right now? Then
he's at the midget strip club.
We know this. This is the background.
So what I noticed too is like right now, obviously, this market has been pretty crazy. It's been overreacting, underreacting, and all kind of things. Nothing's adding up, right? I mean, you got still a rise in cases. You got all these riots going on, right? And we still got no vaccine, but you're hearing more about the riots than
COVID.
Than COVID-19, right? You hear more about, the stock market is doing amazingly well. Like you just mentioned, I've been reading about that too, how they thought unemployment was actually going to be worse than what they expected. But from what they expected and compared to the data, they released 40 million Americans unemployed. And they said that, oh, well, you know what? The job force is still looking better. All of this is just hard to say where things are going to go still, right? We still have the situation with forbearance, how that's going to look like, right? With investors that aren't guided by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines, right? That allowed forbearances, right? So we knew that the last time around when people did the forbearance, that investors took advantage and foreclosed on the property, okay? That's why there were certain little tidbits to make sure, like, one, that you get it in writing when you do a forbearance. What they say is what they agreed upon, right? When your clients get a forbearance, right? Two, we also understand that, if somebody was to do a forbearance and they wanted to refinance, right, they couldn't do it until they got caught up, right, Crystal? That's the thing.
And then the PPP, they said too, remember?
So here's another thing, learning from my experience. You guys know I got the nail shop, and we're trying to apply for that SBA loan while we're still doing that refinance for Pomona, and that shit got attached to my credit. And how they see it is that if I'm using money from the nail shop, then that's going to be coming in question, right? Especially when the nail shops close. How do you explain that, right? You're going to have to get creative. So, with clients who, have been getting these SBA loans, that's something to think about, how that, talk to your loan officer, talk to Crystal, talk to the client, how Crystal talked to the client, so that they can kind of plan that out, because you don't want to get sidelined like, oh, hey, you get into escrow, they're going to pull the credit report, and this may show up later because it didn't show up in the beginning, right? And now
they did a credit refresh when we're about to close.
Are calling
loan.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a business loan, right? So let's say we started the process, it wasn't on the credit report, but then some now till then they started, applying for it. and then it
Yeah.
reflected towards the end. And now her people, her quality control is doing that soft credit check at the end, right? Remember that that happened towards the end. And then now they're saying like, hey, whoa, what's up with this SBA loan? Like, why is this on there? Are you guys struggling? Is there a problem here? Why are you guys applying for an SBA loan? Because it's a factor of income, right?
Yep. Because it's like it's like two different. We're using the income system, saying that but to go back to something before I forget. But so now on all self-employed and all borrowers, no matter if there's PPP or not, I have to prove that their business is still actively, like, I'm doing a realtor's loan. I need to show them listings and contracts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to use. That's what I'm going to use, right? To show the proof that they're still actively working. So for all self-employed borrowers now, we have to show proof that they're like invoices or anything. That's one of the requirements, no matter if there's PPP or no PPP.
Okay. So that I guess for real estate agents and brokers, that would be a little bit easier if you're transacting, right? You could show closing statements, you could show listing agreements, you could show pending agreements, right?
Yeah. So let's take the example of the nail salon. If they would have questioned us on that, like at that time when we did our transaction, that wasn't a guideline. It happened after. Okay. So then we would have been like, oh shit, right?
Right. So it's good to try to catch ahead to plan for it before it happens. So just a FY, if you have clients who own small businesses and that's a big source of their income, right? To qualify for a loan, just a heads up. So that could be something good to talk about. But content, right? How do we engage if we're not prospecting for new business, if we're working our old business? How do we engage with our audience, right, Vin? So we can start putting out content, Monday market updates. We have, obviously little tidbits about eviction, and, Vin mentions a lot of good tips, right? One of the tips Vin tells me is just start recording yourself. You'll get natural at it. I don't like seeing myself. I don't like talking to myself. It's weird. It comes not very natural, but I'm assuming with time we get better at it. And so it's something that we all need to do, and we'll start doing it on Mondays. So with that being said, Crystal, if you can just shoot out in the group text, that gives us something to work with. Like, hey, you know what? Rates are looking better today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's always some. You could choose what bits and pieces you want to use or not use, but yeah. And then also too, I think this is another thing we're gonna see too. And this is off topic. I'm just, me, random thoughts in my head. I think that we're gonna start seeing borrowers complaining about rates once they go up, because we've been so fortunate to have rates so low, and they talk about low rates, and so now they've been spoiled. So now when they're starting to go up a little bit, they're gonna start bitching.
So how would you say what's an objection handler for that?
I don't know.
Well,
the market, the market, it fluctuates all the time, right? We know that. So and you can't lock in a loan until you have a purchase contract, right? Or until you start escrow on a refinance. So,
well, then you can just say, like, if you think the rates are bad, then it's gonna get worse if you wait. Right?
Or you can
keep going up.
Right.
We can show them rates from the 80s.
The rates were like 8% before, wasn't it, or what?
Oh, up to 14%.
Huh?
14%.
14%. So going back to that, right? Because we saw the all-time lowest at 2.7, and now it's climbing to 3. And then I would say, if you wait anymore, then it's gonna go even higher, because that means it's getting better.
I mean, I guess we could use the fact of COVID being like, now that COVID is fading out, rates are starting to fade. Starting to life is starting to get back to normal, I guess you would say.
Well,
I guess it is. I just don't know.
They're talking about a second wave coming, right?
Yeah.
With all the people that are at the protest, you think about this transmission going on, the second wave. So there's a lot of talk about that. They're talking about with what's going on, the second wave might be worse because of what's going on right now.
And they were talking about a second wave before the protest, remember? So now it should even be higher.
Well, I mean, nothing's really changed since then besides them not publicizing as much. So
I
as
just feel
far
that everything's going on as usual. I mean, all the other states that I'm doing, everybody's starting to open up.
Yeah, restaurants are opening up again. Yeah.
So you just gotta keep on going with the flow with that until they start shutting things down again. That's what it is. But I mean,
Victoria Gardens is open.
Well, here's
next week,
here's
all
a
of them are
proof
open.
to your pudding, okay? Everybody's been able to transact during COVID-19 when it first happened. So
Yeah.
regardless what happens after the second wave, regardless from now till forever,
Yeah.
you know that the ability of you and your team has been able to do it.
Yeah.
Whether it's not astronomical numbers, but there's a lot of little victories from for sale by owners to regular transactions to buyers getting them in the market and getting them closed during this, and having, you know, a loan officer that's able to do it, you know, during this time as well and on time for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So you have a solid team. You have proof that it's possible. So regardless of how bad the second wave is, you know, we do our due diligence. But again, it's really going to be a factor of how we let it impact our own economy, right?
I wonder, do you think that if COVID didn't hit, our market still would have had like all the craziness that happened?
All the craziness?
Yeah, like as far as like, remember how like non-QM went away, the market rates went up really fast?
They were actually projecting to have a higher, stronger real estate market regardless if we're over the 10-year cycle based on what they were projecting, right? So even though, you know, things look like they're getting better pretty fast, we just, you know, again, we just don't know. So in regards to just don't know, like I said, like gather the information, don't get overwhelmed by it, but plan, right? Plan every day. Like, you know, plan by putting yourself out there, plan by building your database, plan by being the person that is the go-to, the expert. Why do we go to you all the time, Crystal? Because to you, especially for me, you're the expert when it comes to the financing. You're the expert when it comes to the strategy, the changes in the market on that end, the lending conditions that are changing, right? Yeah. So, you know, as soon as something like I feel like even when that shit happened, I was like, hey, Crystal, how do you think this is going to impact blah, 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 right? So, you know, be the one up in your area, right?
And what do we say when the market goes down? What's the first thing to go down? We said our investment. Remember, and it did.
Well, yeah, all those went away, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I get a lot of buyers right now that are telling me like, hey, you know what? Well, I think I'm gonna wait. You know, I think the market's gonna crash, right? Then I tell them that, hey, you know what? You know, that surprises me that you think that way. You know what they just released? That there was $350 billion liquid from 2 large real estate investment companies that believe the same thing you do. And let me give you a little bit of experience that one of my buyers just had recently. They got outbidded all cash for a retail home. Okay, so right now in our local market, our finance buyers just got outbidded on a regular home, not a fucked up home, not a home that me and Vince.
Not an REO.
Not
an
Highland
one.
Highland, yes, the one I went to show you. All cash.
That was beautiful.
And they offered to also pay for the seller's closing. How creative, right? I told this to all you guys. I was blown away, right? I was like, fuck, I want those buyers. I will work with buyers all day long if they're like that buyer. All cash, pay for seller's closing, go above and beyond all day. Where are those buyers at?
In
Where
China.
are those buyers at? Why aren't we reaching those buyers? They might be people who are selling at the top, getting all their cashes and finding their retirement home. Why do I say that? This house was a single story, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, no HOA.
You know what? I have 2 people right now that's the case, my friend. That's exactly what's happening. They have like their house, selling and getting into a house now that they are going to be the retirement home. 2 escrows open right now like that.
Yep. So that right there, I think people not even investors, the regular person who bought during the housing bust has so much appreciation that, you know what, that 2-story house no longer makes sense for me, right? So boom, here's another idea, right? There's another content idea. You know, have you guys bought from 2008 to 2016, right? Are you guys tired of walking up and down the stairs, right? Let's find out how we can help you find your perfect home for your forever home, right?
Warmer climate, something.
And then boom, what about this house? This house just came up in Eastvale on 293 Banana Street. It's a single story, doesn't even have to be your listing, and you can market the shit out of it. You see? Boom. There's some content right there, right?
Is that the one you just posted?
What I post?
Coming soon, or was that Vin?
Oh, that's me. That's Eastvale House. That's one's coming.
Yeah. So no, so that was just like an example, right?
Oh, got it.
Yeah, there's something going there. And, you know, like Vin, you know, Vin's making all this beautiful content for all of us. Use it, you know, use it. I look at mine, I shoot him, and he's dressed that shit up. I'm like, damn, why did I post? I want to delete my shit and then go back and repost this shit, you know?
Hey, Vin, is that your neighbor that we talked about when Mike was selling his sister's house in Santa Ana?
No, it's a different one.
Oh, okay. What happened to that guy?
That guy just went off. I think they have new place, something going on. I haven't checked it out. But how can we still like be closing during COVID time? You know, not a lot of people can say that. And we're closing multiple deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like what?
I think I'll have my best month at Commerce this month.
Huh?
I said I think I'll have my best month at my company this month.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And it's COVID-19.
They're in COVID, you know what I mean? So that means
a lot of that. If you think about it, that's through your earning your trust through your agents, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to think about what happens when your agents are struggling.
Everybody's
so
struggling.
you gotta ask yourself also, what can you do to move your needle, right?
Yeah.
Are you still doing any outbound, or is it more still inbound leads? Right?
The only outbound would be if you guys were like, here's a number, call them, right?
Well, I mean, that's still inbound.
Yeah,
right?
so no, probably not.
Oh no, so get out of here. So right? Like the
I was
thing
being
I mentioned
technical,
that you can do for Caitlin, you can get all your previous clients on the Excel sheet, right? So here's the thing, we're a team, and I want to be able to all of us together. How can we help each other? Like, not even hold each other accountable, because even that is difficult, but how can we help each other? Like, how can I help you, Vin? How can I help you, Win? How can I help you, Crystal? How can Crystal help us? And how can we help each other through personal and, you know, even business-wise, whatever. Like, be there for each other, check up on each other a little more than often, right?
Oh, Bank of America was at 740 FICO score, 10% down to go FHA.
To go FHA, you need a 740?
And 10% down. The client that I just closed, he went to Bank of America, and then his I had done a loan for his like brother-in-law, like just recently closed as well. My Chino Hills people, right? His brother-in-law went. They were talking, and he's like, "Dude, no, I'm getting an FHA loan, and I only put down this much." And then when I talked to him, Eric told me Bank of America told me no. I needed a 740 FICO score to go FHA, and I needed 10% down.
Wow.
But I don't know if that was high balance FHA too. So I don't know if that was because it was high balance.
That was my second question to you. Right?
It was Covina.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you, like, is it high balance, right?
It might have been because it was high balance, but even so, I didn't need 10% down at 740.
Right.
I'm doing a high balance right now with 589 FICO score.
Yeah.
Right.
3.5% down.
Let me add something to it. And Crystal, this is where I oversell you all the time when it comes to recommend lenders, that the ability as a private lender to you have a way to do things compared to, say, your traditional large bank, Wells Fargo or Bank of America. And I always kind of inform about, you can go to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, but you go to my lender, this is what she can do with you. She can work with you on a certain number that bank mostly don't. So yeah, when you tell me that, that's not a surprise at all, actually. And that's how I always sell you on that aspect, is that what you
Well,
pay
thank
for.
you, my friend. Thank you. But have you heard that too? Like, have you guys heard that from people saying that their banks like are a lot stricter?
No, I just been reading it more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, most our clients, if like most of the times, like my database specifically comes to me first and foremost,
Yeah.
and then I send to you, right?
Yes.
So most times that's just but it'll
Like
be interesting.
Wynn's client, for example, he was very analytical. So I know he did shop me with with like different people and stuff. We ended up closing him, but I think like
Well,
the
here's another
analytical
thing too.
Uh-huh.
These clients, like just like Vin's guy, these guys all got pre-approved prior to Wynn and all of them kind of getting in front of them again, right? These clients already shopped. Your client was pre-approved. Your client was pre-approved already before you guys stepped in the picture, right?
They're already shopped.
Then did they have a real estate agent prior to you?
They're going through Redfin.
Okay, so they were
going
going
through
through
Redfin, and they're going through Zillow, and
Okay.
then they're opening these doors up for them real quick because they think they can. But I'm like, dude, hit me up. I get into any door I want. But
I have a
they're
question for
using
you.
that in, and then after that, they come to me and they're like, hey, I want you to do it because, like I said, like with my audience, people trust me because they see that I'm still working all the time.
Because you build a relationship with them versus
I build my relationship with everybody. Yeah, that's what you got to do. I'll build a relationship with your people too.
I think though. I think I think only the girls though, right? Just kidding.
I gotta build everybody. I'm a capitalist.
I think that they're probably more of a numbers game on like the Redfin and Zillow agents. Is that true? Because they probably get the leads coming in, or no?
Numbers. Yes.
Like meaning that they're not that personable with the clients, or no, or I don't know.
No, I think it's I think we got to take more accountability, guys. If
More
they're in our
accountability
circle-
too, but I think just Zillow right now, it just seems like that interface and however it works better. But then after they go, the VA guy, he already went to get the Zillow person, and they opened multiple doors for him, like for a good 7 months before. And then I met him at his party, and then I was like, hey, I'm an agent. And then he's like, okay, cool. And then within the last 3 months, we closed them in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I think he was
like,
pre-approved too for with the United or UA.
yeah, because he was a VA.
Veterans
But,
United or something, right?
You get interpersonal with people, and you're like, oh, by the way, I do this too. And they're like, oh, shit. In my group of people, why don't I do with you guys? Because mostly with my people, they're like, you know what? I might as well have it in the circle instead of anybody else, instead of going out to Redfin and anything. Even though they
So
started
you had
with
just
that.
met that. You just met
Yeah.
you just met him for the first time.
Yeah. No. I met him. Yeah. I only met him this year. But
Oh,
they're
got it. So he
like
wasn't
friends
like
of friends of friends. And then, you just go with that. And now everything's done online, Not a lot of people go out that much too. Now they're all, okay, then you're friends with this guy, this guy, and then they go with this, and then for some reason it just goes around. And
Yeah,
you just stay
I'll have a little meeting.
Yeah.
You stay consistent.
You know that I have a question for you, and that this doesn't really pertain to what we're talking about, but do the Redfin agents, I know before they used to give like 1% back to like the buyers for closing costs. Do they still do that?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, they still do that.
They do? Okay.
Well, we could do that too.
I was telling Vin, I mean, if they're coming online and they're kind of like that easy where they're popping into new builds and things like that, like I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Just go
like
with it.
it's about building and nurturing that relationship, like to see how far that goes, right? After you pop them in, now you got another one you're working with, right?
Yes, and then that one right now that I'm working with, he's like, I got 2 other people that I want you to work with too. So when you close out with this one, you can, and they're just like, this is the same thing that we're doing. They're going through all that, but they want to run it through you too. And then if anything, whatever happens, it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna be doing that because it's just down the pipeline. We'll put it into the pipeline, go into the next one. Because the thing is, our group is still babies, you know what I mean? So now we still grow from there. You get what I'm saying? This is only my first year of real estate. We're closing deals.
Yep.
You said you're closing. I think it's a lot. This transaction, I really wasn't involved in the other one with you so much. The one that you did with Nayoka, remember?
Mm-hmm.
You're night and day. I'll tell you that, from that transaction to now what I see from you, just over like sitting back and just watching your emails or what you're sending and this and that. And I'm like, oh, good job.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna acknowledge that his response time is very, very fast, and so is Wynn's. And you know, we gotta be better at that. You, me, anybody assisting.
Yeah.
Before we take it to the next level, okay, some of you guys own a house. Well, I want to own my own house. Maybe that's the next question. How do I do that? Right? Is that even something? Right? How do I own investments? Right? What's a good investment? Right? What do you guys want for yourself? Right? How can we help each other get there? This is not a closed door, like only the broker makes fucking money and all you guys starve. And like, you know, certain organizations, I'm not going to drop names, and they say like, oh, we did 90 flips last year. Let's go. Let's close $1 billion in sales. Keep pushing. No, what do you guys want out of this shit? You guys chose to be in real estate for a reason, right? How many of us got to take some time today and get clear with what we really want?
I want
right?
doors.
Doors. Doors. Right?
Yeah.
I've been like, we all want more, and we want it doors. We want doors. But if we can't do the basic fundamental, like been telling us to post some shit that you're in a business, you better go buy your doors at Home Depot, because that's the only way you're gonna get a fucking door. You want a door? Go order that shit.
Because that's the only thing you're gonna be able to afford at McDonald's.
Right. You know, that last, I'll walk you, Pomona, official burr. 14th Street should have been official board, but I hold a promise to the buyer, right? Pomona officially burred, bro. Bought it, rehabbed it, refinanced it with Crystal. And Crystal, that was her first delayed financing for a while, right?
Yeah, for a long time.
Got out 100% of the investment. Well, not 100%. The rehab cost is still there. And the reason why is that we didn't lean it into the property to refinance out. But it's still a burn, right?
Got the cash that you put in to purchase it, yeah.
So you ready to get out now?
Huh?
You ready to get out now?
Done.
It's already rented?
Done.
So would we consider that a 1031 we did too, or we're not counting that?
Burn. Okay.
Send me pictures.
Are we counting that as a 1031 that we did
That's
or no?
fucking great,
no, we
man.
can't, because that one's oh, want to hear something interesting about 1031 that I was up reading?
Yes, go.
What, guys? You guys hear me talk about master leases, right?
Oh my god.
You're master leases.
Why did he say, oh my god?
That's just awesome.
He loves this shit.
What?
He loves this shit.
No, he
Okay.
said that's all you talk about is what he's saying, huh?
A master lease can be 1031 exchange.
Oh wow. It can or cannot?
It can, through real property. The nugget here is that it has to be a lease for 30 plus years for the IRS to consider it to be exchangeable. So let's say I held down a shopping center over a 30-year lease, and it can even be a 20-year lease with a 10-year option that adds up to 30, right? And so that right there, that 20 plus years has equitable interest, right, in that property. That lease is worth something. So if I wanted to buy another property, because this thing cash flows, right, my contract cash flows, I can go exchange it into an actual real property. Like I can go buy a fourplex with this if I wanted to.
But would it have to be an investment property?
Yeah, it's all investment, right?
Right, yeah, right. You couldn't do that as a primary, right?
But you wouldn't do it as a primary. because
No, I
you
guess I'm
have that.
thinking the 1031 part. Like you would sell an investment to go take the money to go buy a primary. You wouldn't like, so you don't pay capital gains on that. Could you do that?
No, because when you start off with an investment, it's always going to be an investment, right? Unless you revert it back on your taxes and claim it on your taxes for 2 out of the 5 years, then you're exempt, right? But I'm talking about a lease. Crystal,
Yeah,
wrap your
sorry.
head around this.
Lease.
I'm talking about a piece of paper that you lease through another owner that you can exchange it for real property. Get what I'm saying? I'm taking control of real property through a document. I don't own it.
Yeah.
I don't own it. And
So you're
now
subleasing it.
and then now I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go buy real property with that.
Because you're gonna leverage that property that you're managing as to buy the new property, kind of like you did with the hard money.
Yes and no. This one's a little bit more trickier and it's a little bit more advantageous because now if you have multiple people in your circle horse trading and you want to get it out from one trade to another and you want to avoid capital gains, literally you can lease out certain investments for long times to one person, then they can trade one property over to another to avoid all these gains, and they'll just horse trade.
Oh, I see what
I'm
you're
saying?
saying.
So
Yeah,
that's one
it's
way.
like
you
you're
guys
bordering. What do you call it? Border? Exchanging service for service. Border.
Border, is that? I don't know. Border, I
What
guess.
is that
Yeah.
called?
Barter.
Barter. Yeah, sorry, border.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like you're bartering, kind of.
yeah. So, but the crazy thing is, you don't ever own this. You didn't pull out a fucking mortgage to buy this $5 million commercial unit, right? You said, hey, you know what? We're with New Block Commercials Real Estate Services, right? We'd like to master lease this, 5-unit complex for you for 20 years for this amount per square footage, right? With a 10-year option. Okay, we do the math. We say, okay, we're cash flowing this about 10 grand a month.
And then you can take that as your collateral.
Exactly. And then Vin or somebody else, you come to us and you say, hey, I like your, this commercial building you have, right? Oh, you know what? Yeah, how can we work a deal? Well, I got a 16-unit complex. I seen your cash flow on this, right? Would you like to do an exchange? Okay, cool. I'll exchange you a lease agreement that I have for your actual 16-unit apartment. You get what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You're just trading paper. It's not
You're
yours.
trading fucking paper.
Paper. That's all you're doing. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. This is a different game.
Sorry. Win just left the best 5 minutes, but it landed to me.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
Oh my
it's
god!
crazy.
You're leveraging paper.
This is how they do it, dude. Guys, we can do a lot of funny shit.
That's crazy. Is that considered creative financing?
It is.
That's freaking nuts. Where'd you learn this from?
Reading.
Oh, you freaking nerd. Just kidding.
Well, you know me, like I'm trying to exercise my reading. One of my things is like reading 10 pages a day, I hate reading. You know that. That's why I have you read everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But yeah, that's it. Again, though, but why do I bring that up, guys? We're not exposing ourselves to enough transactions to see what we can put together.
No, we're not opening ourselves up to a
We
different.
are not. Just think
our
about
parameters.
buyers and sellers are just.
It's like we're closed-minded, I guess.
We are.
Because that's how we're
And we're
programmed.
not getting enough numbers to exactly why, because we're all preaching commission.
Yeah,
Even
next feature. Yeah.
No, like, you know what I mean? But even I gotta go research the research, and then I gotta put it down. With the whole BRRRR shit and understanding the delayed financing, I can only read so much before we go out there and do one.
Yeah.
Now we walk through the whole process as a team, and now I can feel confident. If you brought something to the table, I say, okay, I can confidently say we can run the numbers and see if this thing bursts, right? I can say that we can get your money out, right? Again,
Because we did it already.
Again, though, we're not the traditional. We're small enough to grow together as a team, and we have to think long term, right?
Longevity.
It's easy for Vin to understand it because he's open-minded. It's harder for everybody else that's been having this normal job to kind of wrap their mind around it still, right? So it's a process. But again, New Block, this is what it is. Like, this is no holds bar. Whatever we have for each other, we offer our heart and soul for each other to grow. You know, I don't keep this a secret, right? I don't keep none of this shit a secret. For what? We can all get it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, you share with us all the time when you find out new information.
I just didn't know you did the burr already with that one.
Oh yeah, that's new news to you. That was so
So-
last month.
That's
So,
within a month. I mean, that's within the
Okay.
year that you just did the other one, and now you did another one this year.
yes.
Then
So
get with the times. That was so last month. Just
let's
kidding.
break it down. All right. 14th Street, it was an actual burr, but we didn't understand what a burr was. I didn't
No.
understand what a burr was. at
I
that
didn't
time,
even know
right?
how that was.
Right? We were kind of like, okay, this is, oh shit, 14th Street, the numbers make sense. Like, you know, we got it at where we need it. I can cash flow it. But fuck, we told Mr., you know, our buoy client, right, that we're
Mhm.
promising to sell it to them. And you know how much struggling I gave you, how much shit I gave you. Oh no, I wanna finance the seller. I don't want to sell it to him yet.
Yeah,
And
back
you're
and forth
what
a
do you wanna
lot.
do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Right? So
Yeah.
then you and I go on a master leasing class, right? And I say, you know what, like on this investment trip, and I say, you know what, I'll just master lease it. So we've done a lot of new things, all these new tactics as a group, right? This year. That money we rolled into Pomona. Pomona was a full burr with delayed financing, got all that out, and then we got it rented out, you know? So yeah, within 6 months, we were able to do 2 properties, you know? But again, it's momentum, right? We're all learning. These are training wheels. Like, oh shit, Crystal, can we do this? Can I get all my shit out? Can you do that? Can you get all my shit out for me? You
And
know?
now we know what to do next time.
Now it's plug and play, bro.
What would
Yeah.
you do? Did you do hard money? What'd you do?
All cash, bro. No hard money.
Oh, so all cash. You cash it up, and then you cashed up the renovation too.
Cash up the renovation, pull it out, refinanced it. The thing that I learned about this last one, though, is that prior to this, I should have put a mechanics lien
Yeah.
prior to closing it because my renovation was the only thing I couldn't get out.
Mm-hmm. And you had the equity.
I had the equity. I have
Yep.
over the equity.
Yeah, you.
Right.
So that would have been a perfect scenario. But like I'm saying, now we know for next time what to do, or to
Yeah.
throw that you pay for points or whatever on that, or some shit when you something. Yeah.
Yeah, max it, max everything out on the HUD.
Now we know how to structure it from the beginning. Now we know that we have to structure it from the beginning.
Right. But we
We didn't know that
know.
before. Yeah.
We didn't know. I thought I could have got my rehab costs out. I found out that there was a certain way we had to set it up for me to get it the second time around. So that had to close after the purchase.
But
Okay.
you could have walked away with no money into it anymore.
100% because we bought it,
That cash that you put in,
including the rehab. But we
including the
couldn't.
rehab, and then you could have pulled it all.
But this time it was only the cash the initial cash to buy.
I thought you were supposed to put at least 30% into it and keep 30% in it or something.
We
He
did.
had.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I
We
mean,
did.
that's okay because are you still pulling more money out than you did when you put money in? Because of
No.
the appraisal? The appraisal didn't go high?
It came in.
It could appraise higher, right?
Yeah, a lot higher. So he had the equity in the house to be able to take out all of the money that he used to purchase the house.
And more. Or just
No, all of it only. But now we know next time what we have to do to get additional money on top of the purchase money cash.
Uh,
I've been reading on that, but that's still fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
It's what we want to do, man.
Oh my god.
I could have. Okay, so this whole thing, right? I was just like, man, the pandemic, do I just flip it because we put money into it, right? We rehabbed it. We're going to make it look good to flip it, right? And then we're going to wait. Well, I mean, it's a full burr. You know, why am I going to go through the whole process again when this is what I really want? And it goes back to aligning yourself, right? Like that say, align yourself, right? Is it a part of what you want to do? Cool. I'm making $500 a month. I got all my shit out. I can go find another one.
Yeah.
You're
Right?
rolling it.
I'm rolling it. It's that word they say,
Keep putting in
velocity. How fast can you roll that money? What's cool about cash when it is cash, and here's what I learned that Thatch does, bro. What Thatch does is how you brought up hard money. He uses hard money lender.
Yeah.
Okay, he uses the hard money guys to finance his deals, and he doesn't put any of his money out because obviously he's built that relationship. He'll probably pay the points and things like that, but for the most part, he uses hard money. He doesn't use his own cash. He still burrs the same way. Okay, our hard money guys right now dried up. If you want to go buy a burr deal, bro, 50% down. If that. Before it was like 25, 20%.
Didn't you do one 10% down? But you was different.
I did one with 10% down because we have a relationship too.
Got it. Okay.
Right? But now because of COVID, 50% down.
Overnight. Crazy.
Overnight. Okay. And then, I mean, that's a lot of down payment for that, you know. But if you have a good burr, there's 50% right there for you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, they're pretty lenient on, you know, obviously income, credit, and things like that. But just obviously roll in the carrying cost, your monthly interest, you know.
Yes. Whatever.
I mean, bro, like this, just the shit that we've done in I would take it back even 9 months, bro. With even the house that I'm living in now was a unique situation itself, right? We use 14th Street to buy this house like a debit card. Put up, right, Crystal? We put up a collateral to go buy this house. We use 14th Street, collateralize it to buy this house, right? Through the hard money. And then we rolled in everything, bro. We rolled in the interest. We rolled in the payments. We rolled in everything.
Oh, yeah, because we the gift of equity, huh?
And they said to us, like, hey, Mike, don't worry. Because we looked at the HUD. They're like, they already charge you all that interest up front already in the loan. And then I called them up and they said, like, you know, because I don't read my shit. I just go with it. And then I call them and they're like, hey, yeah, don't worry. We'll cut you a check when you sell the property, right? So they did. They cut us a check, right?
Oh, yeah, you got money out of that too.
Yeah, right. So it's just
you just pretty much short-term finance your cash.
We did. So
when we did gift of equity on that, so you came in with no money.
Yeah, we did a gift of equity to.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
We got decks in this card to play, dude. We got decks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's some of the shit we've been doing, bro.
So that's why Mike was really grumpy for the last 2 months prior, because he was all in or nothing. Just kidding.
I've been all in since the last 6 months, and if I've been grumpy, my apologies. But it's been.
I'm just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
I have to go through it so I can kind of like when we are all ready, or you guys get ready for yours. I took the blunt of the force, right? All the pain. Crystal, is this gonna work out? Crystal, where's my money? Are we gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, towards the end, what happens? Hey, Mike, they pulled your fucking credit and there's an SBA loan at the last minute.
Oh, shit.
You know, my shit got suspended and she didn't even tell me. So obviously trying to keep my sanity down, right?
Yeah, you would have lost your shit.
You know, so.
He got suspended.
The loan got suspended. His loan before it got approved, it was in suspense, and I didn't tell him. I just got it out of suspense.
Yeah, it's like letter worker magic.
Yeah. So she know I couldn't handle that kind of pressure, right?
No way.
Oh, that was good news only.
He's like, oh, don't worry, things are moving along.
Oh, don't worry. I just need these conditions. Oh, don't worry.
But yeah, dude. This whole, even we haven't done numbers, but the 3 transaction loan, it was like a 20 hit combo, right? There's so many different things from one thing, collateralizing, cross bridging loans, from hard money to free and clear property, then to refinancing with a gift of equity, right? And then to doing a full burr with delayed financing, right? So, yeah, it's been interesting, you know. I mean, our numbers aren't crazy. We're not closing massive deals, but the experience and what we're learning, it's working, you know.
Yeah, because we started leveraging gift of equity a lot.
We did, and then we started actually promoting that to our clients. Right? We closed
Perez.
So then, you know what a gift of equity is, bro?
Yeah.
You should get with Crystal about that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
A grip of equity, get with her, educate him so he can start promoting that too.
Okay.
So, other than that, guys,
It's a wrap.
we went over, but the last, I guess, 20 minutes was pretty epic.
My God.
This is another segment.
This is another whole fucking segment of this shit. I'm just like,
This is overtime.
Yeah, but I mean, like I was telling Vin, we got the subs now. We're in a market that's conditioning itself to be primed for investing.
Uh-huh.
Right? We're having the strategies. There's so much more, guys. This is literally like,
oh yeah.
I mean,
Just building ourselves right now.
just-
You know what I mean?
you know, yeah, at a deck of cards, we got probably 3 cards to play with, right? But that's 3 cards more than the regular agent or person, right?
I agree.
We have a little bit more, than what think about, you got a seller that's going to come to you like, hey, Vin, help me sell my house, but I ain't got no equity. Hey, Vin, I'm about to lose my house, right? You got so many different things that you can come up with that said like, you know what, you ain't got equity, but what about this? Why don't we do this or this, right? But again, we got to get in front of people, we got to get marketing, because I think that forbearance, if we can get it before the banks do, we're going to win. If we can get it before the investors do, we're going to win. But once it gets to out there to the public, we don't have enough cash to play with.
Mm-hmm.
You got $350 billion waiting to snatch up all these defaulted loans. So the way we do it is, okay, if they're 2-3 months behind, we got enough cash to play with that. That's one commission check, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as we're learning, there's other ways, But again, we got to let the opportunities present itself by just showing up, doing the work, manifesting, right? It has to be a little bit of all of it, We can't just show up with no plan, or we can just not plan and not put in the work, you know what I mean? Or plan and not put in the work. So in regards to that, guys, I'm excited. I think it's a good time to write down our goals again.
What do they say? If you don't plan, you're planning on failing?
Yeah, if you plan to fail, then your plan is to, if you fail to plan, then your plan is to fail, right?
There you go.
So I think clarity every day is like, we all say we want doors. Well, how have you guys said how many doors?
Yeah.
Have you guys said how many?
10. That's what the guy said.
Well, that's what the galley said. 10?
No, the guy. We went to the thing at Mike
Okay,
Ferry.
but what does 10 door give you in monthly income?
2, 4. This should be about $5,000.
Okay, so $5,000 earns you a $60,000 a year passive.
That's not
income.
enough.
Does that support your lifestyle, Crystal, ma'am?
No, sir, it does not.
Okay.
I need to redo my numbers.
So you have to reevaluate. That's what I'm saying. Our numbers are
Yeah.
going to be different, but it's possible. Then you got to put a price tag on that door. Right now, I'm gunning for $400 or $500 a door.
That sounds good. Sounds what it
Right?
For
That's doable in Cali. It's not crazy, but it's doable. Because anything between 250, you might run a snag with repairs and maintenance and things like that. But 500 will give you enough spread.
Yeah.
Avoid high price points. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
unless you're giving it away, then run the numbers, right? But stay in the median where most people can rent and buy. $2,500 a month and less. From LA County to the IE. Now my picture is like, okay, at first I didn't want to pool, but now it's like, fuck it, we got a pool. Now you just kind of deal with it, right? Because other people's manage okay with a pool. So I'm okay with that, It's just making sure that the disclosures and everything's filled out correctly, and that if you have maintenance, that they're coming to check up on the property on your behalf, keep eyes on the property,
Yeah.
But again, if you buy right from the time of the investment, right?
It is, yeah.
If you rent right at the time of signing, you never have an issue, right? It's when you don't buy right that you fuck up your numbers. And if you just throw somebody in there for the hell of it, you know, because you're worried that you have to pay a month's work, you know, then you might be jeopardizing to deal with a problematic tenant. Long term, right? And if I say, okay, I could have made 150, 200,000 on this flip, or am I thinking, okay, well, you know what? Do I want to keep running this rat race forever? Or am I gonna celebrate through like little wins, right? So it was a hard decision, but you know, obviously everything panned out. You just gotta take a leap and go, right? Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's done. The refinance is done. Then I sat there. I said, "What do you want to do, Michael?" And I said, "Okay, you know what? I'll just rent it." You know, I shot it out there. Somebody reached out, and kind of like God said, "You're gonna rent this house," because I didn't post shit about it.
Yeah.
I didn't say, "Hey guys, this one's for the lease." You
Yeah.
know, our people reached out and said, "Hey, Mike, you got a house for rent?" I said, "Well, what do you want to pay?" They said, "All right, 2,600." I said, "Perfect. I got the right house for you." You know what I mean?
You want to live here? Yes.
Yeah, you know, and the plus about, I don't have a regret about putting that money in to rehab it the way, even though it came out to be a rental, right? Because you can always increase the rental price because that people feel comfortable living in a decent house.
Yeah.
We got to figure out, like, if we're going to live there where we feel comfortable. You know, cheap shit's not always going to cut it. And
Yep.
that's like, you know, I just always like, okay, I try to be there for the tenants. You know. And you try to just navigate through that. What's right? Are they overextending their requests, or is that within reason? You know, and the assets are the tenants, dude. Tenants are your number one assets.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it
They're
break.
gonna determine how quick you have turnarounds and how long they stay. You know, so there's always two sides to a story, right? Remember, if the tenant's always bitching and complaining about shit, there might be a reason. You know, maybe the house wasn't fully up to par. You know, I just had a $950 plumbing bill, right? That we didn't assess because why? I came into it thinking I was gonna flip the property. You know what I mean? Then after reevaluating how to switch it up and make sure, you know what, I want the plumbing right because I don't want to come back and deal with plumbing
later
issues.
on down the line.
Yes, sir. Do it right, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get our doors, guys. Reevaluate it. Let's like maybe this end of the week, guys, like come back. Like how many doors, man? How many doors, Crystal? You know, and throw out your doors.
Okay.
You know, get clear and then manifest it. Write it down every day. Write it down on one of these, right? You know, what am I grateful for, right? And maybe we'll look into Vistaprint and we can do a new block journal for everybody here, you know? And then we can just hold each other accountable to getting our goals.
I like
right?
it.
Because I don't want to look back and it's just like, okay, well, you know what?
I accomplished nothing.
Right. You know, I'm still doing the same thing. You know, I'm still kind of like, you know, no, I want to say, fuck it. This is our time.
Yeah.
We ride the wave. I don't want to miss the wave again. That's my number one fear, saying that I saw 08, I worked in 08, I lived 08, and now where I'm at in my career, I can't capitalize. I might as well go back to a regular job. You know?
Can't go back, man.
Like, yeah, hell no. You know, so now it's just like, okay, let's get clear every day. We got a whole squad of young entrepreneurs and go-getters. Crystal, you and I have been doing this long enough. It's unacceptable that we don't have that many doors. It's unacceptable
Agreed.
that we're still earning a high-income job. And, you know, we have this amazing fucking human being next to us that makes videos about what he cooks and who can enhance our life in ways that us dinosaurs can't do it, in a way that we can help him grow, right? Because all Vin has to do is in his mind say, okay, I'm going to start doing real estate again. And all of a sudden he's got one in escrow, motherfuckers showing properties in the 650s. Like for the longest time, I was all like, why am I still in the 200 ranges? When can I meet people with more money? This guy just says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm ready. and I'm going to post shit out there, and I'm going to meet with my people, and I'm not going to be scared.
Yeah.
You know, just showing up all last year is just showing up. And then the moment he stops showing up, he's gone. And then when he shows up again, he turns it up again. Isn't that how work is for us?
Yeah,
Crystal,
yeah.
why are you and I always talking like, oh, fuck, how's the pipeline now? Oh, well, you know what? We need more. But it's not always that consistent. Because why? Our actions are not consistent. Our mindset is not consistent.
True that.
You know, we're obviously pivoting with a baby in our hand, with bullshit, with family problem, with life problem, with I don't feel good this day. It starts with, we got to flex that mindset. You know, we got to constantly read good shit, because if we want to just read the news, then that's all we're going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Take what you want. Just take very little of it, and then build your own economy so we are resistance. We are recession proof, guys. How do we do that? I only know one way. I only know real estate will allow me to do that.
Yep, I
I
agree.
only know that through real estate, and not only selling and buying and helping people achieve their goal, I need to achieve my own goal, whatever that is.
And you do a good job.
And that is through buying units,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm going to tell you that, you know, every commission we should be allocating and setting aside for that opportunity.
Setting that shit aside.
And I can also assure you that you don't need money to buy property. You just got to get creative, right? But you need the opportunities. You need the chances to bat, you know? Like, you know, you've seen the time lapse from the last project to now. Why? I'm looking like, damn, it's taking too long. While these guys are like 1 deal, 2 deal, 3 bird, 4 bird, 5 bird. Why? Because they're doing that shit every day, bro. They do it every day. They're focused. I'm not focused.
Focus in it. Yeah.
Yeah. When you manifest, your mindset has to be focused. You know, it has to be the all in all. That's it. You know, no distractions. If you're not doing anything to benefit my life, you need to get the fuck out.
I like it.
Otherwise, let me speak to my people who's on the same fucking mission that I am. How can we get together? Let's push each other. Let's do more. Because at the end of the day, America is a sleeping beast. And while it's asleep right now, guys, while America is asleep right now and waking up, we need to get a head start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're sleeping right now. We need to get a head start. We need to be diligent in how we conduct our business. But at the same time, just know that like that, things can pick up pretty quick. And we may turn around and miss that mark. Right? We don't want to wait another 10 years to ride this. You know? We don't want to wait 10 years.
Yeah.
You know? If there's certain things that we need to like look, where our credit, where our debt, where our income, how can we situate, right? Like the longest time, bro, I wrote off all my income. It took me so long to finally to get with Crystal and actually finally utilize my own shit, right? Instead of leveraging hard money, cash, and all this shit. You know, it takes time. It takes, you know, just like a regular buyer, we have to evaluate them. We have to evaluate us too, right? Yeah. But in the meantime, too, just understand, guys, that there's so many other ways to take advantage of properties without ever buying it.
Yeah.
Control everything they say and own nothing, these guys always say. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
They control everything and they don't own a lick of split.
But they're getting cash flow.
Yeah, they're fucking making cash flow.
They're fucking making cash.
Little oil wells every month. You know, 1, 2, 3 Banana Street, 2, 3, 4 Apple Street. Like, right?
Oh my
like,
God. Whatever
oh my God. You know, so like where our focus is, we have to gear our message that way. Right? We got to, if we're talking about all this Section 8 shit, but our property management system isn't down, we got a problem. Right? If we don't have a nice fluid oily system to, once we throw out the net and all this fish come back, we're going to have a servicing problem. even
Yeah.
for our own properties. Okay, so we got to get better. We got to understand the eviction in and out. We got to have a team, right? You know, a lot of these guys, they build huge rental portfolios, and the real estate buying side is just a portion of what they do, but they mainly focus on rentals. Why? It's a positive cash flow, it's residual, it's stability, and then here, you know what? I need a few transactions. Let me reach into my rental property, see which buyer or which tenant's ready to buy and which seller is ready to sell.
Yeah. Like right there. It's all right there in your pool. They're all
Yeah.
on property.
And
I'm
just reach-
checking out though, guys. I have to go grab the baby.
Cool, me too. But thanks for chiming in and being supportive of the team as always, okay?
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we will
All right.
TTYL later.
All right, Monday market update. We're gonna wait for it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.